Hi guys, so here's another makeup diary video where I'm going to show you 7 different looks that I've worn in the span of 7 days and tell you a little bit about what I've been wearing, how I've been enjoying it, if I've reached any milestones, if I'm gonna continue using some of these products, declutter them, all of these things, kind of my daily experience with these products. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. And in case you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows especially, and I just love everything fun and creative. So if that's something that interests you, I hope you're gonna stick around. You're also gonna hear about a lot of different projects in this video because I do create, I am part of a lot of different project bands and stuff like that. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. And now let's get into this look. So let me actually zoom you in. Okay. Maybe. Okay, so I think now you can see quite well the look. I'm sorry the lighting isn't the best, but I'm at my grandparents' house and it's slightly, it's getting darker and I don't have that good of a light source here. But anyways, so first up, I'm wearing my Delicious Delights palette. No, actually before that, I should mention my brows because that's what I've started with. That's what I always start with. I mixed 2 shades. I've actually done that yesterday as well because, I just want to have some progress with my collection. So I have one Bendo's eyeshadows shade that has been so hard to hit pan on, just on my eye. So I've been using it as a brow shade as well, and I have to mix it because on its own it's way too mustard, which obviously does not fit with my brow shade. So I have the shade Crypt from the Hello Bean palette by Sharp Cosmetics. And as you can see, like, the dip is insane. Well, maybe you can't actually. The dip is insane, but there's still no pan. So I hope if I'm gonna use it for like the next 2 to 3 days like that, I will. And I have to mix it with this shade, which is called Ice Crystal. It's from Odin's Eye, from their Christmas Eve palette, and I repotted it into this magnetic pan so that it's easier for me to use it. So that's my brows. Then on my brows as well, I have this Got2b brow gel that I've been wearing all the time. I have my Wet n Wild Mega Last eyeshadow primer. Then I wanted to focus. I feel like this should be like, okay. Then I wanted to focus on obviously greens because I have a couple of greens in my Bendo's eyeshadows. And I kind of used most of the ones that I store in this Earth palette. There's no longer any of the shades from the original art palette. But what you can see here is I started with this shade, which is called Elf Wish. Let me actually check that, but I'm pretty sure about that. And this one is called Best Wish. I have that kind of all throughout the first half of the crease. Then my Bendo's eyeshadows for this month is the shade Matcha Cookie. And I actually have to use it up because in the original pan that it was with in the Merry Christmas palette that these are from, it already had a huge pan, and now I don't know if it's really visible, but first of all, these round pans are super small, and also it's just like little tiny layers, so I have to use it up completely or use it 20 times. Then I also used this shade, which is called the Christmas Tree, also from Merry Christmas, and I've used a little bit of the shade Crypt on my lid as well, just to have some uses. I also have it on the lower lash line, and I have the Best Wish in the first half of the lower lash line. Then on my eyes, so going from, and now on the lid for the shimmers, going from the outer part to the inner part. So I used my NYX glitter primer, and then I used this shade, which is the Jingle Bell, which is also from Merry Christmas, and there's very little product left there. Then I used another of my Pandos eyeshadows, which is the shade Think from the Tinkerbell palette, which I have to use up completely because it's already had quite a bit of pan when I rolled it in, and now the pan, as you can see, is huge. I actually used it on my nails today as well, but it's not, I don't know, I feel like I've used that once before and it looked kind of nice, but now it's really bad. So I don't know what I did wrong. Maybe it's just that it's older formula, or maybe it's my nail polish. I don't know. It just didn't really work. And then I have, so I have the thing in the first half, and then I topped it with another Pandos eyeshadows that is a little bit more like a topper shade, I would say. And this is the shade Slay. Sorry, wrong hand. This is the shade Slay from Blend Bunny. This is from the Linz palette. And it's a beautiful, like, purpley, green, blue. It's stunning. There's already like a little bit of a disturbance. And I have that in the inner corner, in the first half. And I actually also used it as a highlighter. Isn't that so beautiful? It's such a nice iridescent highlighter that I just love. So that's for the shade Slay. And then also to use my Delicious Delights palette from Cosmic Beauty, because this is my Pandos eyeshadow, no, not Pandos eyeshadows, this is my palette crush of the month, which is my own project that I've just started, and it's where you have to roll either by random number generator, Tiny Decisions app, or just handpick a palette that you're gonna use at least one of the shades, where you will always use at least one shade every single day for a whole month. You can either use just one shade or the whole palette. I'm kind of trying to like focus on different, I'm also trying to know pen behind this one, but there are definitely gonna be shades that are gonna have way more uses than the other ones. That's just because on the days that actually I'm not using these as eyeshadows and I'm using them on my face, obviously I don't have that many options. But I used sprinkles on the lower lash line. I also have here at the end, I also have Fizzy, this one, and I have Charms as my liner. So I'm also wearing that as liner, and we've used another 3 shades from this one. Then as a blush, since I already told you highlighter, but as a blush, I have this Franken eyeshadow actually, which is the Gingerbread from Merry Christmas. Frankened half and half with my Essence All About Matte setting powder. So that's what I'm wearing. And I'm gonna have to repress that soon. Well, it's actually my Shop My Stash for April. So I might use what I have here the entire April, and then we'll see if I'm gonna use the rest of my gingerbread shade, because there's still a little bit of that left, or what am I gonna do. But that's for eyeshadows. Then I have the Revolution Streamline eyeliner in the shade Purple, and I have that over here and also in my waterline. Then I have the Essence Lash Princess mascara, and this is the False Lash Effect mascara. I have my Rimmel Kind and Free concealer in the shade Ten Fair. I'm really trying to like completely use it up, and it's not gonna take long because I wasn't really able to get too much of product out of it anymore, so it's going down without a timber, hopefully. Then so blush, highlighter, I've mentioned all that, and then my lips is my very boring combo, but I have the Essence 8-Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liner in the shade The Perfect Shade, and my Oden's Eye and Angelica Halloween lipstick, and this one is the Glow one in the shade Radioactive, which is just like a lip oil. Apart from these shades that I've used, I used this Solmona gel liner in the shade 01 from Woden's Eye in my waterline. Then I have, Jesus Christ, then I have this Essence Lash Like a Boss waterproof mascara. Then I have the Rimmel Kind and Free Concealer in the shade 10 Fair. Then for the first time I've tried this Blooming Blush by Glisten. And this one is in the shade Orange You Glad, which is a shade that I wanted to buy a while ago, but I didn't, and instead I've bought the peach something. And this one is definitely a lot more orange than the peachy one that barely shows up on me, but it is very pigmented, so I went a little too hard on it, and next time I'm definitely gonna have to like slow down on that and use a very small amount. I used like 1 dot here and 1 dot here. I think next time I'm just gonna do 1 dot and then transfer half of it on the other cheek, because this is definitely a lot. But that's what I use as a blush. Then for highlighter, I've used my Mini Charms palette by Beauty Bay because the central shade called Cosmic is my Pando's eyeshadows, and I've actually been able to hit a pan. At first I used it only underneath my brow bone as a highlight because I really like it as a highlight, and I have it a little bit over here as well, just like a little dot over here connecting the inner corner shade with the green. And so I used a very small precise brush for that, and there was no pan. And then I used this Singe F07, which is a face highlighting brush, and it's not like, it is quite pinch, but it's not too small, like it's kind of like almost like my thumb, and that actually made a dent here. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but yeah, so I have my first pan in my Pando's eyeshadows for March, which is so exciting. So yeah, I also used it on my cheek. It's just a very beautiful soft blue highlighter. And then on my lips I have the Cosmic Beauty lipsticks. These are the velvet lipsticks, I think that's how they're called, and this one is from the Christmas collection, the It is the season collection, and this one is the shade Ginger Snap, which is this beautiful warm orangey brown. So here's the second look with my spring Build Your Own palette, and today I kind of focused on the purple with the green. So, and actually I have like a really cool announcement, but when it comes to the shades, I actually only used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've used 6 shades. Okay, I thought I used less. But I started with this shade, which is from the it's from the Violette palette by Glam Shop, and I'm gonna pop on the screen the shade name because I don't actually want to take it out right now. So I have that in kind of pretty much all over my crease. And I've used this shade, which is from the Shroud Cosmetics, the Hello Beam palette that they had in collaboration with Betty Bean, and it's the shade Wicked. So it's that like deep green over here. Then I used a bit of my Solmona gel liner from Woden's Eye in the shade 11 in my inner corner because I wanted to use this white shade. This white shade is actually from the Makeup Obsessions palette, and it's the Ready palette. I'm not completely sure, but anyway, I thought it's more pigmented, but it's not, so I had to use a white pencil underneath to make it actually pigmented and show up as white. Otherwise it kind of looked like a translucent powder. I'm actually gonna zoom you in so that you can see. So that one, and then on my eyes, so I started with this shade, which is the shade Neverland from the Tinkerbell palette, and I've actually been able to hit a pan, and this is my Pendos eyeshadows shade. So I already have 2 of the 5 ones that I rolled in, and this one has actually been in the project for the past 2 months, so I'm very happy about that one. And I also have this, which is a combination of 2 shades from the Christmas Eve palette by Uden's Eye. It's the shade Wonderful and the shade Blue Sky. So I kind of frankened them together because, you know, I had very little of both of them. So that's in the first half of my lid. The shade Neverland is in the second half. In the inner corner is obviously the one white, and I also just here in the first little bit of the inner corner and then kind of throughout the crease, just make it more sparkly and softer. I used this shade from Terra Moons, and I think this one is Charon, but let me actually check. Yeah, it's Charon. I love that one. So those are all the shades from this Build Your Own palette that I've used, and I just love them all. And then I also took this Beauty Bay Mini Charms palette, and I've used this pinky shade. I don't remember what it's called, but this pinky shade here underneath my brows. Maybe get a little closer, and I don't know how well you'll see that, but yeah, I think you can see the shine. It is just so pretty. Also, I have a little bit of the shade Charon underneath my lashes, but just like very, very little. And then when it comes to the like whole look, so I have the NYX Glitter Primer, Wet n Wild Mega Last Primer as always. Essence Lush Like a Boss, this waterproof one, which I think I'm gonna stop using because they're still like product a little bit, but it's getting pretty dry and it's really hard to use. And it takes me forever, so I think I'm just gonna call it quits because it is a bit drier formula. Then I have this Colourpop Cream Gel liner in my waterline, and this one is the shade Amethyst Hour. Sorry, my entire packaging is kind of scratched, so like all the words are no longer there. And it's kind of hard to remember, but I think it was called Amethyst Hour. Then I have the Catrice Aqua Splash Grip Primer underneath my eyes, just in the under eye area, because, I don't know, I already wore a different look for the majority of the day, and then I just wanted to film this and have fun. And since I took my previous eyeshadows, my under eye area was a little dry because it's like really hot in here. I don't know why, or maybe I'm just like not feeling well, but I'm super hot right now. Then I have the Beauty Bay Liquid Blush in the shade Peaches. I just kind of wanted to do different blush and highlighter that I normally do these days because I've just been really focusing on my project plans, which is great. And I'm like really happy and proud of myself, but also like it's been kind of boring, so I just wanted to spice it up a little bit. So this Peaches shade, I always like, I have so many blushes that are called peach or peachy, and all of them look completely different. Like they're all different colors. This is, in my opinion, this is more coral, because this one is very like vibrant and it has a lot of hot pink in it. Well, yeah, kind of like hot pink in it, in my opinion. So I wouldn't call this peach, but what do I know, right? And then for highlighter, I have this Unearthly liquid highlight. This one is from the Night Terror collection, and it's called Bazaar. This is beautiful lavender purple. It has a bit of like a pink blue, and also like a little like smidgen of like champagne in it. And then I think I've worn something else. What else am I wearing? Oh, lips. I'm gonna be very original here, but I have the shade Spectral from the Uden's Eye and Angelica Halloween Bundle collection. And yeah, this is the Shine Lippy called Spectral. I've been really going at this one because I just want to use like fun lips, but I want to first kind of go through my project pans and 25 things to pan and stuff like that. But anyways, that's it for this look. Let me know what you think. I haven't done a look like this in a really long time. Like I love this color combination, and when I was building this BYOP, I really wanted to have these shades there because it's just one of my favorite combination. Well, I say that about most color combinations, but I just really like this one. I think it's very fun and just like I really enjoy it. And I haven't worn it in a really long time, and I think this is one of the ways how, like, if you don't know or if you're not sure about blending certain shades because they're kind of opposite on the color wheel or they're just kind of too different from each other, do it this way. Just like one lighter all throughout the crease, then in the inner corner because it doesn't really mix with anything, and then one liner. Like those are three different colors that you can put on your eyes that will be visible, first of all, and then don't mix together. So you don't have to worry about blending and making it looking muddy or weird or kind of poopy. It's gonna be okay. So if you're not sure about certain colors or you're scared that you're gonna blend them too much together and they're gonna create mess, do it this way. Like it's literally just putting one next to it, next to the other, without any worries. Okay, guys. So here's the last look of this video, and I've been able to use all of the shades that are in this BYOP. And I love this color story. I already knew that I'm gonna love this color story because obviously like I made it to suit my needs. But I've really enjoyed all of these looks. I think they were really fun, really cute, and they kind of made me do something that I haven't done in a while or I haven't done yet. So, and that's what I really like about palettes. Lately I've been kind of like in a rut or, because I've been working so much on my project pans and all these like projects and also reviewing the new stuff, it's been kind of hard for me. And because I've been kind of overwhelmed, I would just do like a monochromatic look or just like a very basic combination that I do all the time. So I've been trying to either when I do a very basic combination or monochromatic look, I've been trying to incorporate fun eyeliners or just do something that will make the look different from what I normally do. And I think today we've been quite successful. I mean, it's a really cute look. I wanted to do something really like almost summery because it's kind of like weird outside. It's dark and cloudy and and I wanted to kind of cheer myself up. So when it comes to this palette, first I've used this kind of blushy shade, kind of like rose petal, and this one is from the Glam Shop Mushlinova palette, and this one is the shade Mushlin. Then I've used this darker pink, which this one is called, I think, Poodle. It's from Colourpop. I have it in the outer part of my lid. And this one is one of their single shadows. And if you would look at this palette closely, you would notice that it's kind of like sticking out, like the pan is kind of it's like taller than the other ones, especially the ones from Colourpop. Then I have this yellow, which is the shade Airbending in the inner part. And then for shimmers, I used two of my Makeup Beauty Shop shimmers. It's those two multichromes. They're kind of really flaky. This one over here is like green, gold going into pink, and that one is called Fairy's Wings. And I have that in the second half of the lid. Let me actually zoom you in. Sorry. So, I don't know if you can see, but it's like green to pink, so it blends really nicely with the pink underneath. But also from certain angles, maybe you'll see that. I don't know. From certain angles, it's also green, and I just love that. And I don't know, I can't see what I'm showing you, so maybe I showed you something, maybe I didn't. And then I have the shade Millenario, just this one, which is like a yellow orange going into pink, and it has a little bit of green as well. So these two are like kind of opposite flips almost, And as you can see, the one is like very hot pink going into this like orangey with a little bit of green, obviously. Love that one. And then I have again the shade Charon in my inner corner and also underneath my brows a little bit. This one is so close to pan. By the way, I had to repress the Millenario and Fairy Swings because these ones are kind of really flaky and like dry flakes. So I actually had to add alcohol, which is probably not the best because that also dries it down, but I needed something to like hold all the flakes together so that I can repress it. So those ones, it's not my favorite formula from Mika, but also I just really love the flips and the way that it looks. So I can't really part with them. Then I have the Wet n Wild Mega Last primer. I haven't used NYX glitter primer. I've just used setting spray to use these because they are so flaky and it just, yeah, I would still need to use setting spray on my brush to even like be able to apply these. So I just decided to go right ahead with it. And I have this Rimmel Content Free Concealer in the shade 10 Fair. I have this Revolution Streamline eyeliner in the shade yellow, and I have that in the waterline as a liner, here as a liner, and also I created these little flowers. Those are really easy, you just create like 4 little dots with it, and since this is actually kind of like, it's very creamy, it's so easy to create these. So yeah, this little cutie flower, and like from afar it looks genuinely like a flower, and obviously it takes like, I don't know, half a second. Then I have this Essence Lash Like a Boss mascara. This is the waterproof mascara. And I actually used, because I've been kind of dry lately, I don't know, I think I'm kind of sick. I've used the Aqua Splash Grip Primer from Catrice underneath the concealer and also kind of on my cheeks. Because this one, it does dry down pretty nicely to like a really soft formula and like a soft feeling, so I use that on my face as well. The only place that I haven't used it is my forehead because that one is a bit oilier anyways, like it always is. And then the shade Muslin that I have on my eyes as like the base shade, I've also used that as a blush because it's a beautiful blushy pinky peachy color, and these Glam Shop mattes aren't too pigmented. Like you can build them up if you want, and like I did build that up on the lids. But if you don't want to have it fully opaque, where you want just like a hint of color, you can also do that. So these ones are really easy to use as blushes if you have a color that you would enjoy as a blush. Then I also have this Essence and Harley Quinn Jelly Lipstick in the shade Gotham Glam, because it's kind of, it fits with the pink part of the look. And I don't know what else to tell you. And then I also used my Project 20 Uses palette, which is the Ice Maiden palette by Beauty Moon Cosmetics. And I've used the shade Snowden, this one, because it's an iridescent with like a little bit of pink in there. So I've used that on my cheeks as like the main highlighter. And then just in a very strategic area, I went in with the shade Charon because it has like a nice gold. So I wanted to have like a pinky gold highlighter, and therefore I mixed those two. So the pink one is a majority of my cheek, and then just like in this very concentrated area on the highest point of my cheek, I have the gold, and I feel like it looks so beautiful. It ties the whole look together so nicely, and I just love this look. It's so pretty. I've been missing these like cutesy looks, and it's just, I love dark looks, and I always feel really nice and really beautiful with dark looks, but also sometimes, especially when it's kind of outside, I just need these like cutesy princessy looks. So hi guys, so here's another look, and today I combined two of my newest palettes, or like one of the newest palettes, and I tried to sneak in a little bit of my Project Pan and Pandos eyeshadows. So let me figure out where I actually started. I started with the brows, which I actually used my Nomad Fairytale Europe palette. And usually I would use this shade, which is the Chateau de Chambord. I've used that one like at least 2 times, but I think 3 times for my brows. But today I decided to go a little darker because I feel like, I don't know if it's because of the sun, like now it's kind of sunnier, that my hair are less gray looking. So I used the shade Neuschwanstein, this deep brown in my brows. And like I feel like it looks okay, like maybe it's slightly darker, but I honestly I feel like it looks passable for my brows. And then as a brow gel, I've used this Got2b one as always. And for the actual eye look, so I have my Wet n Wild Mega Last Primer on, and then let me actually zoom you in. So for my crease, a shade that you can't actually see, but I just wanted to use it to like hit the pan soon. It's my Pandos eyeshadow shades, and this is the Crypt by Hello Bean from Shroud. And like I'm getting like a really good dip, but it's still gonna take me a while. So yeah, you can't see that, but it's all over my lid and in my crease. But then I went in with my Manifestation palette by V Cosmetics, and I've used this berry shade, which is I'm confident. No, I'm enough. Sorry, I got confused, but yeah, I'm enough. And I have that all throughout the crease, so I have that like in the whole crease area. And then I took the Nomad palette again, and I've used this shade, which is the Alcázar de Segovia, in the inner part, and then kind of blending out the previous shade. So I technically only have like 3 mattes, and one of them you can't see, and it's kind of covered with everything else. It's just there to like be there, and I haven't used anything else. I think, yeah, I haven't used anything else, and I used the same 2 shades on the lower lash line as well. And then for shimmers, so I have the shade Snow Queen, which is this deep blue, in the second half of the lid, and then I have the shade First Kiss, this one, in the first half of the lid. It's a beautiful shade. I genuinely love this one, both as an inner corner and also on my lid. But in my inner corner, I actually decided to touch the Manifestation again and use the shade I Am Abundance, this one. It's a really beautiful sparkly lavendery pink with like a little bit of like teal seafoamy flip to it. It's a very, very pretty. So that one is in my inner corner. And obviously for my shimmers, I used the NYX glitter primer. Then I have my ColourPop cream gel liner in the shade Amethyst Hour. I have this Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect mascara. Then this Kind and Free concealer from Rimmel. My Revolution Felt Base blush in the shade Peach. Then as my main highlighter, I've used this ColourPop Super Shock highlighter in the shade Hippo. That's kind of most of my cheek, but then I also used a little bit of the Fairy Tale Europe, and I've used the shade Cinderella, just like very concentrated on the highest point of my cheek, just like a stripe there, and then blending it out because the Hippo shade is like very soft. Like I think you can see it around here, like that's very soft, but then you can see here like a full-on bam eyeshadow, and I just like that, you know. And then so that's highlighter, and then the only thing that's missing is the lips. So I have the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Free Spirit, I believe. Yeah, Free Spirit. And then this Udens Eye and Angelica Salmone Udens Eye and Angelica Halloween lipstick bundle shade, and this one is the Shine one in the shade Spectral. So that's kind of what I did. And then because I kind of didn't want it to just do this, and I wanted to do something interesting, even though I had to get up pretty early to be at work. but I've used this Lens palette by Glisten in collaboration with Glisten Cosmetics, and I have the shade Strut in the outer part, and then I've used the lighter part of the shade Heart, both here for this little like wavy thing, and then in the inner corner here. I don't know even if you can see that, but I have like a little line here that I do sometimes because I feel like it helps to lift the eye look and helps to make the winged liner look a little bit sharper, and like, I don't know, like it helps to tie it all together. So that's that one, and I think that's everything that I'm wearing today. Hey guys, welcome back to another makeup diary entry. So today I kind of combined a couple different things for this fun look to A, have fun, B, today is my first day of my new project that I've started, that I came up with, and that is the palette crush of the month, which is my Delicious Delight by Cosmic Beauty. So let me zoom you in and show you what I used for this fun look. First up, I used my Wet n Wild Mega Last Eyeshadow Primer. Then, because I want to film my monthly haul soon, I used the Beauty Below palette by Blend Bunny Cosmetics because there are a couple of shades that I've only used once, so I want to use them at least twice for the haul. I don't think I'm going to be able to use all of these shades 3 times because there are just too many shades, and I'm currently not fully living this color story. So 2 will have to be enough. But first I started with the shade Abduction in my brows. I've actually used it on my brows like maybe 4 times now, because I think I've used this shade 6 times already. And yeah, it's a really nice brow shade that fits me quite nicely. And I also used my Got To Be brow gel with that. And then for the actual eye look, I started with the shade Tempt in my outer half of the crease. This one is like a very deep berry shade, kind of almost like plummy shade, or like aubergine. I'm not complete. It's one of these. Then I used Take Heat, which is this kind of black shade, right in the outer part, and also slightly in the lower lash line. Then for shimmers, I have Atargatis, this one in the like second third. I've used my NYX glitter primer to use this shade. I also have Intoxicating in the outer half, like in the outer third, and then Deadly Fate, this one, on my lower lash line. Now these two are quite, well, not jelly, but they're definitely slightly like squishy, and you have to use your finger. At least for me, brushes didn't pick anything up, and they weren't able to like transfer to my eyelids, even if I tried to set it, even if I tried to spray it with a setting spray. So for me, these are formulas that you have to use your fingers for. A lot of these don't need that, like especially the lighter shades in the lower part, but these really deep ones on the top row are kind of, they like need that little bit of a push with your hand to actually like transfer the shade. And you might even see that they kind of have like a little bit of a finger dip because of that. And I think that's all the shades from this palette. But then I also, as I said, since this month I'm gonna be focusing on the Delicious Delights, because the project because the project palette crush of the month is kind of about using a specific palette every single day of the month for in some kind of capacity. You don't have to use it on your eyes, but you have to use it. And so I went in and I used the shade Marshmallow, this very bright pastel-y pink in the inner part of the crease. I also have Candy Floss over here, because the shade Atargatis that is like centered around here was a bit too dark, so I just tried to make it A, sparklier, and B, lighter with the shade Candy Floss. And I also used the shade Delicious in my inner corner. Yeah, in my inner corner. So I have 3 shades from this palette as well. Then I used my Glistening Cosmetics and Lindt Collab palette. This is a water-activated liner palette, and I've used this orange shade called the Dot. Okay, so then I used my Glistening Cosmetics and Lindt collaboration water-activated liner palette, and I've used this orange one called Dot. I have that over here as the liner. That's kind of what it started as. Then I also added these like tiny lashes on my lower lash line. And then I also added these little dots. So, and I really like this shape. I usually don't really do that because I don't like it, but today I decided that that's gonna be what we're gonna be working with. And I really like it. Then to finish up this eye look, so I have my Oden's Eye Salmon Gel Liner in the shade 01, which is this bright pink. Then I have my Rimmel Content Free Concealer in the shade 10 Fair. I have my Oden's I have my Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. Then Revolution Fast Base Blush in the shade Peach. Then I have my Glam Shop Laguna palette. And I've used this shade Reiki, which is this like orangey pink kind of peach shade, as a highlighter. I feel like mostly it looks like goldy, like a little bit of orange and peach on my cheeks. And an update, this shade shattered on the floor, unfortunately, today. So I'm very sad about that, but I couldn't do much about that. And I'm actually kind of mad about that because it's like a really nice shade, but I can't undo that. And then I have the Essence 8 Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liner in the shade Chestnut Perfection. It's the shade number 11. It's a nice deep brown. And I have two of my Oden's Eye and Angelica Halloween bundle lipsticks. And I have the matte one in the shade Swamp Fog. So it's kind of like a grungy brown. And then I also have this, which is the glow version in the shade Radioactive, just to make it a little bit shinier and like juicier. And that's everything for this look. So let me know what you think about this one, and I'll see you with the next look. Okay, guys, so this is the last look of my makeup diaries. And today I kind of combined a lot of different things, especially for my project pen and Pendos eyeshadows, to just like really get it moving. I would like to film my Pendos eyeshadows update soon again, but I don't really have much progress. So, well, I have 2 pans already. So, anyways, I've used the Salmon 2 palette from Oden's Eye to create this like very basic look, but also like I had to get up really early, and also it's like Monday for me after the time changed, so like I'm just tired. But I used my Pendos eyeshadow shades, which is the shade Neptune, this one, and I kind of have it on the lid, in the crease, under the lower lash line, like kind of everywhere, because I really tried to like pack it everywhere I could. And the dip is getting really big, and actually like it looks very similar to the other pads that do have or like the other shades that do have pan in there. So I feel like it could happen anytime soon. I'm gonna try to use it like one more time this week, and maybe we'll be successful. And actually I also used this shade, which is called Soft Cloud. This shade that's here is frankened with one of my Glam Shop depotted shades from the Alter Ego palette, because it's the exact same shade that was there. And the shade that was originally there, I used most of it on my as a nail polish. So yeah, I just kind of frankened that previous one with a Glam Shop one, and they're the same shade. They're just slightly different formula, but they're the same shade. It's just that the Glam Shop is a little bit dustier. So that's for the Salmon palette. Then I have my Nomad Cosmetics Fairy Tale Europe that I'm currently kind of working with to be able to haul it soon. And I used 2 shimmers from this beautiful palette. I've used the shade Sleeping Beauty, this one, sorry, in the first half of the lid, and then the shade Love Story, this gorgeous one, in the second half. It is just such a beautiful combination. I know that's kind of like a basic look, but I just love these two shades together. Let me actually zoom you in a little bit closer. Like, do you see how sparkly and beautiful this is? Even though it's like a really basic look, I feel like it still looks really nicely. And I've used this palette I think 6 times so far, and it just, I have no complaints. Then I also have the Laguna palette by Glam Shop, because it's my project one to use this palette, and like I'm getting really pretty soon. Like I think I've used it 16 times, and when I rolled it into the project, I think it had 4 uses or something like that. So we're already like halfway, more than halfway done with this. And I've used the shade Atoll because I've only used that once previously. And this one I have it in the inner corner and also as a highlighter on my cheeks. I don't know how well you'll see that, but it's kind of like a green gold and very beautiful. I was first scared that it's gonna be too dark to use as a highlighter, but it's actually like, I don't know, all of these are pretty light shades and very iridescent. So unless I'm gonna use these 2 darkest ones, I think I'm gonna be fine. I do want to try this one because it's kind of like a peachy pink corally shade, and like if I swatch it in the back of my hand, like it's not too dark. I think it could still work as like a blush and highlighter all at once. So that's the Laguna. And then for the rest of the look, I have the NYX Glitter Primer, Wet n Wild Mega Last Primer, Rimmel Kind and Free Concealer in the shade 10 Fair. Then I have this Woodens Eyesome Gel Liner in the shade 7. I have this Essence Lash Princess Mascara. It's the False Lash Effect. I have this Revolution Fast Base Blush in the shade Peach. And then on my lips, I have the Essence 8 Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liner in the shade Cinnamon Spice. And I've mixed it with this Woodens Eye and Angelica Nyquist Halloween Bundle Lipstick. And this one is the Shine one in the shade Spectral. And then on my brows, oh, I also forgot to mention, let me take it out. I've used this, the Potted and Repressed shade from the Christmas Eve palette by Woodens Eye. This is the shade Night Sky, because again, it was like a nice opportunity to use it and there's very little of it, so I just wanted to get some progress on this one. Oh, Jesus Christ, I can't speak. And then I also used from the same palette this deep potted shade, which is called Softly, and I've used that in my brows, and I almost have a pan there, which would be really cool. So that's the shade Softly. And then I have this Got2b brow gel to hold it all in place. So that's kind of everything that I'm currently wearing. And let me know which look was your favorite from this entire collection. Let me know if you have any of these palettes and what color stories or colors you've been enjoying the most to wear in the past couple days. Because I've been definitely heavily leaning into like blues, teals, and greens. That's like my jam. So I have to switch it up and do like, I don't know, yellows or oranges or something. So let me know what color you're most drawn to right now, and have a wonderful day, and I'll be super happy to see you today, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow with another video. So bye.